Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. June 2nd, 2017. When I was just in elementary school, I used to defend victims of bullies. Boys who would, for one reason or another, jumping on girls, trying to fight girls. If ever I saw it, I would stop it. Or if the boy was intending on fighting, then I would offer the fight from me. And I've always been like that. A bully. Can you imagine when you see them on TV, they would show you what a bully was like. Someone who just totally disrespected others. They are the only thing that matters. They're the only one that counts. Well, I kind of had a teaching early that about God. Now, this part of it I accepted as being true. That you had responsibilities as human beings. You had responsibilities as people who were aware of the truth. They call that born again or knowing God. And so you were taught that stuff like bullies was ugly. And you were supposed to defend good against ugliness. So that's where I got it from. And you know, I said that to say this. This is one of the major things I got against Donald Trump. He's a bully. He's a bully. He can't even hide it. When I watched when he was overseas on that 9-trip, and I don't know who, it was with a group of representatives from various countries, and they were having a photo session. You saw it. I'm just trying to draw it back to your attention. And he had come in a little bit late apparently, and he just busted through the crowd and pushing people aside and sticking his chest out front and buttoning his coat like now the power has arrived. Bully. You know what it did to me? It made my flesh crawl. I felt hurt. I felt so embarrassed. I just couldn't believe that this could happen. But it did happen. And there are so many other ugly things happening from this bully. And as I think about it, ladies and gentlemen, if this had happened under Barack Obama, I would have been ashamed to be an American. If this had happened under Barack Obama, I would have been ashamed to even show my black skin in public. To let anyone know that I was associated with the kind of things that's going on in the White House today. That's how I would feel. I don't know how you feel, but that's exactly how I would feel. And you know what? I know that there are white people out there in America that's sick to their stomach that what is going on in D.C. is under a white man. I know it's pathetic. They can't stand it. But yet, there are those who just love it. It's the answer to their prayers. As if it had happened under Barack Obama, there would have been some out there who would have loved it as well. So that tells us, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't have the answer. Because when we feed one side thinking we're satisfying it, even to the degree that those who would normally go against it accepts it, it would be that much increased by the rest. So you have to ask yourselves, what is it that we want? What is it that we as people on earth want? We want peace. I have no doubt, even the guys who start war want peace. And they start a war so they can get some peace. That's what they call peace. And every part of a community wants prosperity. There's a none absent that. There are those who would want others to be absent prosperity. There are those who would want you to suffer. When you look at the policies and the proposals that are being presented to Congress for passing, people see it. They see how it hurts others. And yet there are others saying, pass it. Let's get it going. What in the world do you think is going on, my friends, my sisters, and my brothers? Let me tell you something. You heard Donald Trump talk about fake news. And those of you who believe that the news is actually fake, you believe it. Nothing someone else is going to say going to change that. Those of you who believe that Donald Trump's opening his mouth is fake, you're going to believe that until it doesn't matter what he says. What he says has no impact or effect on you. That means when he's out of office. But I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, even when Donald Trump is out of office and whoever follows him comes into office and are out of office, things are not going to be any better than they are today if we do not change our way. Now, I say that I was selected. I don't know why I was selected to carry before the people of America a message. Was it my faith? I definitely was not any better than anybody else. But then I recognized that there's a price. And the price for my being here was paid. Some say Jesus Christ on the cross. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's what somebody told me. But what I do know is that in that moment when that life was supposed to leave, something miraculously happened. And that means that you as human beings grouped together or individually could not have done one thing to bring me above that situation. But there was a power that I couldn't even see, couldn't touch. Did its thing. And while I couldn't identify it, I could see the results. And it was the power of something other than us, ladies and gentlemen. I call it God. Why did I call it God? I call it God because it was so fantastic for me. And because it was so fantastic for me and because of who I am, I believe that that same God is for you. And not only do I believe, I have been faithful to the point that I accepted a challenge. My life does not belong to the way I used to be. What do I mean? I mean being selfish. Selfish enough to only be concerned about me. I didn't want to hurt you, but I wanted to get over, to say that the life's run was good. But having my eyes open, and how did I have my eyes open? When I experienced the miracle. And having my eyes open, I could see where I was and where that spirit that I couldn't see, couldn't touch, couldn't feel came from. And I was able to see where it was going. Make a long story short, ladies and gentlemen, I accepted that call. But I wasn't ready to do anything beyond what I was ready to do in accepting the call. I had to be qualified. And I didn't get my qualifications from the seminaries. I was sent into the world. Not as a person who's on top of the world, trying to be all of this and all of that, but speaking from the bottom of the world, trying to get to the top with everybody else locked in, arms in arms. I took the conversations that had been taught, I took what was being said, and I looked at what was being done. And I came over conclusions that things were not as they were thought out to be, that things were really fake. Fake in that everything promises peace, but there is no peace. Everyone promises prosperity, but there's very little. It's not going around. Everybody talks about joy in life, but who are the percentage of a percent that's experiencing joy in their lives? And for those who are, why? When I think about what I have been given to say to you about your dreams and how you and I have accepted crime and violence, have accepted poverty, have accepted terrorism and war. And this is nothing but a tool that works against your dreams. When you think about this nation, my friends, look here. I don't want you to think that because I'm a black man, and you've heard others say that blacks are the original people. So, am I any more than my sister that's younger than me because I was first? Do I require any more food than she? Any more education than she? Any more health care than she? Any more love than she? If I don't deserve more, then why should I have more? I have more because I'm a bully, and I'll take it. And because those of you who know that I'm a bully and you're afraid of bullies, you allow me to take it. Those of you amongst that group, you're not as afraid. So being stagnant might give you some courage, and you might come at me, but you know what will happen. And your only fight back will be terrorism against the war machines. I keep repeating these things because I want it to ring in your mind. This is the world in which you live. But my job is to tell you that this world is like this because of you. And you permit it because you do not know the truth. You have been deceived, and everything you do plays a role in what we have. Your institutions, they all are designed to support what exists. Those of you who have faith in some religion, you only are limited to what you believe. You can't speak of the truth about peace and prosperity and joy. You can't speak about love for everyone. You can't speak what it means to do unto others as others you'd have others to do unto you. You can't speak about those things because you know you're not going to do those things. Why? Because you don't believe it's going to work. You don't believe that the next person is going to do it. Why? Because you don't know the truth. How are you to know the truth? You only have belief, what you heard, what you read. But nothing manifests before you because everybody who have come before you and said that they would were lying. And those who are serious were killed. And by George, not knowing the truth, the last thing in the world or anywhere else you want to do is die. And you are assured that if you get on a path such as that Jesus was on, for those of you who say you know the story, if you get on a path such as that Martin Luther King was on, for those of you who know the story, if you on a path for the little kids who are playing with toys and are shot down by police, all of these things, my friends, my sisters and my brothers, calls for change. It calls for change from the worst to the best. So what am I saying? I'm saying, in summary, this. No white man got a solution to the problems. When you think of white people, especially in America, you think of killing the natives, taking their land. Not all of them, but the ones who were so greedy. And then when they start being programmed, the others start being programmed that this is how you got a chance to have some land and grow your food and stuff, then they begin to accept it. Even when I grew up in the elementary school and started watching cowboys and Indians and seeing John Wayne and killing these Indians, and India was being brutalized, and hey, my education made me feel that I should be grateful to the white soldiers making it possible for me to have a place to stay. Not even knowing the story about black people. I had no knowledge of that whatsoever. I didn't know that story. But when you think about what happened to black people, you think about the shades of the people that were there. Not everybody was, white people were for slavery, but there were those who were. And there were those whose actions supported slavery because they didn't do anything to stop it. And yet there were those who gave themselves to stop it and their lives. The ones who gave their lives represent love. The ones who went along, hated it, but did nothing, which ended up supporting it, they believed, but their belief had no value. Not in that regard. It might have had enough value to kind of hold the world together to keep it from falling apart, as it seems to be doing today. But that happening was in your hands. When you know the truth, you will know what is fake and what is real. If you talk about Republicans fixing an education system sufficient to meet the needs of the American people, that's fake. If you're talking about Democrats doing it, that's fake. If you're talking about having it done in such a way that it benefits everybody, that's real. And that is, I just call it God. I just call it God because it seems as human beings don't believe in stuff like that. And yet, it's the only thing that works. And you can't touch God. And so God to you really doesn't exist. But what I want you to know is that if God is in you, then everything you do is God touching God. I feel like I wasted my time on this video. But for some strange reason, I did it. So I'm going to end it here and say, Eddie Marcus saying bye-bye.